Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to this program of awakening the Kundalini through yoga and also through science. It is indeed a pleasure here being introduced by Dr. Paul Leon Masters, who is the Dean of the University of Sedona and also University of Metaphysics. It's a world-acclaimed university. Today, we have guests here from Seattle as well. It's nice to see people coming from so far, just to understand the awakening of the Kundalini. It is a pleasure. Thank you. What I'm going to do today is, first of all, explain you what yoga is. Yoga, basically, it's a union of two components. These two components are known by different names in different schools of philosophies. In the Far Eastern, we call it Yin and Yang, or Tai Chi. In India, we call it Shiva and Shakti. And on the Western Hemisphere, I would like to call them consciousness and awareness. Now, the term consciousness is very difficult to define, but we will make it so easy for you. So by tomorrow, when we prove that universe is a hologram, you will actually see what consciousness is and what the difference is between consciousness and the observer inside you. And exactly where the observer is. And why is it that the observer cannot see the consciousness, yet the consciousness can see the observer? So I want you to all go today with clear understanding what yoga is, how many types there are, and how each one differs from the other one just by the technique that is used there. Last time I touched base on consciousness and awareness was in Las Vegas, where I spoke for the first time. And there I promised that I was working on theory of everything, which has now been published, and it'll come out in book form sometime this year, where a person can understand everything there is to understand. No more complications, no more confusion whatsoever. As I said earlier, yoga is basically a union, a yoke, if you like, of two components. The biggest problem in understanding yoga is, what are these two components? If you could just visualize it and experience inside you, then 50% of the work is finished. It's identifying those two components. That is the main thing. Now, so let's touch base on what consciousness is and what awareness is. Now, some of you have already seen me on YouTube explaining these two things. But it makes a difference when you see the person live in front of you and he's explaining now what consciousness and awareness is. So let's start with a couple of examples so that you can understand those two components, how they are actually in your body right now. Consciousness is an observer, if you like, inside you. Whenever you go out and you see this world, it may look real, but it is not real. It's the observer inside you that's observing all these things which is outside your body. The same observer is also looking at your nervous system inside, and you see all the images inside you. You see your car, you see your house, you see all the memories of your past, where you've been when you were young, when you got married, and all the experiences. The same observer is looking at that. So that is one component, and we call that observer consciousness. Because the observer is in phase with consciousness. What I mean by in phase, it means whatever the observer is experiencing, so is the consciousness observing, and also experiencing the same thing. The difference will be clear tomorrow when we actually look at the whole hologram, and you'll be able to distinctly see the difference between the two. The other component is awareness. Now that component is basically to do with your life force, which is inside you. Awareness is a principle which obeys cosmic law right from minuscule to the macro level. Now let's see what it is really. The whole body works on a principle of awareness, from cells to bacteria to all the bodies that incarnate from that, everything, right up to human being. Now you may wonder, can you show us what you mean by that awareness? For instance, let's see when the sperm and an egg combine together. Whatever happens after that, the whole formation of the body that happens after that is due to awareness. The cells know when to divide, how to develop itself. Where does the eye go? Where does the ears go? Where does the nose go? It takes 9 months. Human being plays no part in it. There's something else at play here. That is actually arranging everything. It is almost automatic fashion. That is what I call awareness. In Vedanta philosophy, all that cosmic law, which is full of awareness, is described in the 4 Vedas. Now those 4 Vedas and the explanation of what goes on in the 4 Vedas as a separate school of philosophy altogether. It was started by Swami Vivekananda almost 200 years ago, and now it's taught by Deepak Chopra, who comes from that background, because his master Maharishi Mahesh Yogi was coming from the Vedanta school. So obviously he, being his disciple, would teach from that angle. So basically, in a nutshell, let's give an example. So supposing, say, you go to a dentist and he gives you injection, your awareness from certain part of your jaw goes numb. Yet there is a knower, observer inside you who knows that that tooth is going to be pulled out, yet your awareness is numb. There's no awareness whatsoever. So identify these 2 components inside you. Why I'm saying that? Because yoga is actually a combination of these 2 components. When you can assimilate these 2 components perfectly, then you will see your maker, your creator, or what we call the source. You have these 2 components inside you. The whole body of yours is under strict cosmic law, and it works on awareness. In other words, even if I say were to pinch you somewhere in the leg, whatever happens after that, the whole process from cell to neurons firing and you knowing something is hurting me, all that is under cosmic law or awareness principle, which is totally separate from the observer inside you. Okay? The body, when it's young, when the sperm and the egg meet, formation of the actual body, which takes 9 months, and then it grows, and it grows, and it grows till it gets old and then die. All that is comes under what we call awareness principle, which is under cosmic law. Okay? The observer is totally aloof and different from that. Now this awareness principle in yoga is called the self. You must remember that. Together with the self, what we have is the soul. Now the soul should be referred to as consciousness. Okay? So what is the difference really, in a nutshell, between the soul and the self? I would just say very simply, self is the nature of the soul. Okay? In other words, if you have, say, a chili, it's green in color, but the nature of chili is hot. That's all it is. So a soul has a nature, and that nature is called the self. So if you are truly yourself, then the soul is talking. Or if you are really speaking the truth, then it's the self that's talking. That's how it is, in a very simple language. Now I can go in details to prove it to you, but I don't need to at the moment, because we need to get on and understand all different kinds of yoga first. But understand what yoga is, and that's combination, perfect assimilation of these two components, consciousness and awareness, or yin and yang. Okay?